It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero War Central, and in today's video, I want to try to make the case for Ishmael. But before I get into that, I just wanted to let you know that if this is your first time joining me on YouTube, I like to do videos about Hero Wars and Hero Wars Mobile, and this video will kind of pertain to both. Maybe a little bit more on the mobile side than the Facebook, but if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing. And at the end, if you found the video helpful, of course, please consider giving it a like so it gets in front of other new Hero Wars players just like yourself. Now, I already recorded this video one time. I did what I could. I was trying to make the case for Ishmael in a particular set of circumstances, but when it really comes down to it, I'm just not a fan of really any of them. And I hate to say this. I really hate to say this because I feel like all heroes are great, but the instances that I thought that Ishmael would shine, I'm just not. They're just not really happening as consistently as I would like. So let's talk about Ishmael a little bit, about the facts of Ishmael, and then we'll talk about what I'm referring to. So he is a warrior. He's an agility hero. One of the very few warriors in the game of Hero Wars. As far as stats go, he's very average, very average. 6th in agility, 8th in physical attack, 7th in armor penetration. Of the heroes that have armor penetration, there is only like 14 or 15. And he's second to last in critical hit. Defensive stats, he's got Vampirism. It maxes out at 60% on Hero Wars Mobile. Very poor health, very poor armor, and one of the worst magic defenses in all of Hero Wars. So 4 abilities, just like everybody else. His ultimate ability is he transforms into this demon, and this is one of the abilities that was nerfed. His attack speed goes up by 150%. His critical hit chance goes up a bunch, and he slowly loses energy while he's in this form. If you pair him with a speed boosting hero like Martha or Thea, then this can be, you can get a little bit more effectiveness out of this, but not much more. The green ability, I should say, is a flat out dodge. It doesn't increase your dodge stat. It will allow Ishmael to dodge all physical attacks for 3 seconds. So we have some physical attack mitigation there. It would be nice if it dodged magical attacks as well, but I guess we're not Heidi, so it is what it is. Dark Craft. This is where he gets his Vampirism from. At max level on mobile, he gets 60% Vampirism. Already mentioned that. And then finally, his Violet ability. Every 4th hit will stun the opponent for 1 second. This is another ability that was nerfed a year or two ago. Now, when it comes to these skills, you'll notice that they're very straightforward in that they basically only attack the front line. And while, additional critical hits are nice, and while Ishmael does provide his own armor penetration, and indeed he does have an armor penetration book in his artifacts, it's not enough. It's not enough, and you really need to pair him with somebody. Otherwise, you're doomed to fail. And this is usually the case with traditional Hero Wars teams. If you have a strong tank, and I'm talking a high health or a decently high armored tank, then Ishmael is not going to do good. Ishmael and Ju are very similar. Ju attacks the rearmost hero, and Ishmael attacks the frontmost hero. Who's usually in the rear? Well, squishy hero, squishy healers, squishy damage dealers. Martha, unfortunately, at times. Who's in the front? Usually, all the time. Well, the tank, the tank, and the enemy warriors, and they just kind of shrug off Ishmael's damage. It just doesn't seem like he's doing enough damage to be competitive. Now, where he is competitive, and where I thought about making this whole video, was about plugging in Ishmael as a support hero against 2 styles of teams. First of all, plugging Ishmael in against teams that don't use a proper tank. Maybe your enemy is using Anvari as a tank. Maybe they're using Elmir. Maybe they're using Jorgen. Maybe they're using a weaker tank like Corvus at the moment. Maybe he'll get some skins in the future, but right now he's pretty fragile there up front. Maybe your enemy is using Rufus, and you need more upfront physical attack to get through that Rufus. Unfortunately, through my testing, I could not find a dramatic situation where another hero like Kira or Yasmin or Ching Mao didn't do a better job at taking out that squishy frontline hero. I'm sorry, that Ishmael did not do a better job than those other options. Now Ishmael is not he's not hard to get. You can just get him from one of the merchants, but I just feel like ever since his nerf, he doesn't do his job very well. And it pains me to say this because I feel like every hero can be effective. And I do believe that an Ishmael team can get top 10 in Arena, but not consistently. Definitely not consistently. And I feel like you would just have a much better chance of doing so with other physical attackers if you wanted to do physical attackers. You could build a Kark team. You could build a Yasmin team. You could build a Kira team. You could build a Daredevil team. You could build, a Ching Mao or an Artemis or a Darkstar team. I mean, there's a lot of options in Hero Wars, and I feel like every single one of them are better at dealing with tanks or getting around the tanks than Ishmael does. But let's talk about his stuff regardless. Agility skin is his default skin. Romantic skin is a critical hit chance skin. Champion skin, purchasable from the Guild War vendor, is physical attack. Masquerade skin is health. I like his Masquerade skin the best as far as looks. He's got a little carrot tattooed on his arm and some bunny slippers. However, his critical hit chance and his physical attack skins are going to be the first things that you should level. And in fact, the order that you should level up Ishmael's stats can be found on the stat leveling priority page on my website. Basically, for damage dealers, you want to focus on that penetration stat, and he does have a penetration glyph. The critical hit, the physical attack, the main stat, health, and then the other defenses. Now, if you're planning on using Ishmael as a tank, and some people do, then you might want to consider leveling up his defensive stats first, kind of like you would with Elmer. In that case, level up his health, armor, and magic defense. Any of those that you have access to, level those up first before you jump into the other things. However, having high physical attack and high armor penetration will translate into health returns with his vampirism stat, so that's worth considering as well. He already has all 4 of his skins, so he will never get any stronger than he already is. That's really all there is to say. That's really all there is to say. The other side of things that I thought could be beneficial was instead of plugging in Ishmael against soft upfront tanks, what about plugging in Ishmael as bonus damage against heavy tanks, like a timeout team or a highly defensive team? That is like, 2 tanks, 2 healers, and a support. The idea would be to time out the attacking team. Well, again, there are other physical attackers that just do this better. Whenever you're thinking about the best ways to combat healing in Hero Wars, you could prevent it altogether with heroes like Celeste or Yasmin, or you could keep them busy. If you keep a healer busy by doing a ton of damage to all targets or to multiple targets, then the healer is going to be less effective. And this is one of the ways that Kark and Kira are so popular, is because they do massive damage to multiple targets, making enemy healers not able to keep up with the damage on multiple friendly targets. And since Ishmael basically only attacks the frontline hero, wouldn't it be better to plug in, if you're running a Kark team, maybe plug in Kira. If you're running a Kira team, maybe plug in Kark. or Yasmin. Yasmin attacks not the tank all the time. Or Ching Mao. Ching Mao does flat damage to the enemy tank, as well as a burn, as well as providing armor penetration, which is a greater benefit to a physical attacking team. There just seems like that there are better heroes in all supporting roles for Ishmael, and there are better heroes for all main damage dealers for Ishmael. And while this isn't a proper tier list video, I do feel very sad in my heart about Ishmael, and maybe I gave him too high of a ranking on my tier list videos, which I will link at the end of this video. And to new players, if you are leveling Ishmael now and you don't have him higher than maybe 20,000, maybe 25,000, 30,000 power, I would stop investing in Ishmael. I don't say this about many heroes, but I would stop investing in Ishmael in those instances. There's just so much better opportunities in this game than him. If you are in the 50 to 80,000 power range, you're just enjoy the game. You're going to be fine. You'll still find some top 10 teams with Ishmael just fine. But when it comes to that top 0.1%, you're just not going to have it. You're just not going to have it like a Kark or a Kira team will. But that's it. As promised, here are the links to the Facebook tier list discussion and mobile tier list discussion. They're based on utility, not on power rankings relative to each other. please check those videos out. I feel like they're highly informative. I'll see you there. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.